Skirt steak, instant pot sous vide versus cast iron. Yummy. Since we're going to be cutting off the fat off of our skirt steak, we want to get ourselves a very sharp knife to get the fat off the backside of this steak here. Just work away at it. It does take a few minutes. And be patient. Try to keep as much meat on the slab as possible. And then we're going to cut this piece in half. One we're going to do sous vide style. The other is going to be straight cast iron. And we're just going to be seasoning both pieces of meat here the exact same way. Start off with a little bit of salt and then some ground pepper. Now keep in mind that both pieces of meat are seasoned on both sides. And then of course add some garlic powder to that before we cook. Yummy! We want our water temperature around 100, 131 degrees. That's the temperature that the Instant Pot does run at. So I run it a little bit ahead of time. Fill up the water pot here. Check our water temperature is 130 degrees Fahrenheit, which is perfect. Now with the Instant Pot, we set it to keep warm less. And that's 129 degrees. Now, bagging our meat sometimes can get a little bit difficult. You got to play with it a little bit. And if you don't have a vacuum sealer, I am using what's called water dispersion method using Ziploc bags. Now, I assure you that Ziploc bags are very safe to be doing this. You can see that I put a straw in there and I'm pushing the water out through the straw. And when I get right to the end, I bury that Ziploc bag, and in a moment, just pull that straw right out, zip it closed, and it is perfectly sealed. And now that our meat is going to be cooking for approximately 90 minutes, it gives me a lot of time to chop up some onions, which we are going to saute in a few moments. Cut up some cilantro. I love the cilantro in so many ways. A lot of people says it tastes like soap, but I really, it's one of those things. It's a love-hate thing, but with Mexican, you absolutely need it, in my opinion. Now, because I'm going to be sauteing these onions at a relatively low temperature, I'm just using olive oil, which has got a low burning temperature. Always season your vegetables, just straight salt for me here. Turn the pan on medium and let it go. Most times when I read onions being cooked on different recipes and online, they say 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. I don't know. My onions tend to take about 10 minutes to get to the nice golden brown that I'm looking for. They really don't have to be watched for that long. You can see they're beautiful. Spanish rice is really easy to make. Usually I would use chicken broth in lieu of water, but with this recipe, my girlfriend being vegetarian, she's with me tonight. You just mix 1 part water with 1 part salsa and follow the directions on the white rice package that you have. No good Mexican meal goes without refried beans. Just go out and pick your favorite can of refried beans. In the next episode, I'm going to show you one day how to make refried beans with the Instant Pot, but today we're using canned. Throw it in the pan, cover it up, and turn it on low to heat. Now, if you're like me, no good cook goes without wine somewhere around, and do not let your pots cook too long or you're going to be scraping the bottom like I am here. And having said that, you know what's a really good addition to Spanish rice? Yeah, you got it. A little bit of white wine. White wine makes almost everything better. Red wine makes everything even better. Well, checking the pot here, we're at 1 hour and 19 minutes. I wanted to go 1 hour and a half, but I guess 79 minutes is all right. The temperature maintained at 129 degrees Fahrenheit. That's perfect. This is the sous vide piece of steak coming out. Now, I will tell you, sous vide does not look appetizing when it first comes out until you get the sear. Once I show you the sear, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. As we pull it out, it's exactly 129 degrees Fahrenheit. It is medium rare. This steak is perfectly, precisely cooked. Everything inside is ideal. The last step for a good sous vide steak is a good sear, which I will show you in a few moments. Okay, so this is definitely not the money shot of the video, but I just wanted to show you the differences of what it looks like, and then we will take a look at these steaks after they're both cooked. But next we are going to cook the raw steak first in the cast iron. It cooks for about 3 minutes aside. You see here I've got grapeseed oil that I've put in, not using extra virgin olive oil. Grapeseed oil smokes at a very high temperature, which is nice. And once we put that steak in, of course I'm fast forwarding here and getting through it real quick, but you're about 3 minutes aside, approximately 6 minutes for a medium rare. And the way I cook my steaks is I go based off of feel, just of how spongy they are and whatnot. The more steaks you cook, you will get an understanding for that. Filling my wine up, of course, and sitting back and listening to the wonderful sear of this beautiful piece of meat. But the next piece is where it's really going to get exciting when we're done. Now, because the sous vide meat has already been cooked, it's already up at temp, obviously the sear time is going to be a lot less cooking time than this beautiful piece of meat that you're looking at here that has just been done entirely in the cast iron. There are probably dozens of different ways that you can get a sear on a sous vide piece of meat. My favorite is actually using charcoal and the chimney charcoal out back, or utilizing a Searsol. But it's getting cold here in Chicago, and I'm just inside utilizing the cast iron. Now, when cutting skirt steak or flank steak, we want to cut across the grain, across the membrane. It's a lot easier to eat. Otherwise, you're going to get a very, very chewy piece of meat. And this is the cast iron cook at 3 minutes per side entirely, no sous vide at all. And I am just slicing it really, really thin. It's on approximately, it's hard to see on this angle, but I am cutting at a 45-degree angle. And you want to make sure that your knife is super sharp to cut this stuff, or you can see that you're going to tear the meat a little bit, and we don't want to be doing that. Now, this is where the real difference of sous vide comes in, where it makes meat just like butter. It literally just melts in your mouth. You can see when I'm cutting this meat here, the membranes of the meat are literally just almost starting to fall apart. And there's no pressure that I'm putting on at all onto this meat at all to cut. You notice the meat is also more gelatinous as well. That's the aspect of the meat being very, very soft from cutting it in sous vide, where you get just the flavors all the way through the entire piece of meat and not just on the outer crust when you cook it in a cast iron. And finally, our last step, heating up those tortilla wraps to enjoy. And eat that. Now try the other one.
Better cut this part out.
Yeah, we can edit. This is our first video. Get on the camera. So tell me if you notice a difference in the consistency. One's tougher than the other.
This one's chewier. Chewier.
There you go. We're a brand new channel and we have a lot of great ideas for the Instant Pot. So show us some love. Hit that subscribe button and give me your comments below on what you'd like to see next.